Hi, very good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. Mark Bailey, Chief Operating Officer. So I'm just going to give people a minute to join us, and then we will look to start. Okay, look, I'm going to make a start. Thank you for colleagues who've joined us today. Please feel free to put the questions in the Q&A, and thank you as well for those colleagues who put the questions in advance. They're really helpful, so we can get kind of the conversation going and also look to answer some of those as well. So thank you for that. It's kind of working well to be able to maximise the time in the conversation. So first of all, I'm going to kind of say thank you. The pressure, we know the pressure you'll have seen. We've now moved to week 4, which is the highest escalation that we've got. We are not atypical, not dissimilar to ambulance trusts in the country. We are seeing a level of 999 calls that is literally unprecedented in that. And even from our point of view, we are looking at really calls per day about 40% more than we were 16 weeks ago. And that obviously creates a number of pressures in terms of just physically being able to answer the calls. We also know that people you're tired, everyone is tired, and that's creating that kind of well-being challenge, or people not wanting to be at work, but in part some of the answer people being at work. So it is really, really tough out there at the moment. When we combine all those factors of the pressure, the demand, then actually that's one of the things that we look at in REEAST and the week in assessing that. We do it every week routinely, but we've been doing a daily week review, and that's what's moved us to week 4. As I said, in effect, a number of ambulance trusts were already at week 4. The positives: one, thank you for keep going and what you're doing. You know, you're doing a phenomenal job, and that is everybody. In terms of rallying around, the ability to support, the ability to be able to assist, and I guess focus on the bits of looking after patients. Also know that it's therefore really tough for individuals, for you all collectively as well, because it also means that in order to have managed some of the risk and the concerns leading up to where we are now, we've had to take some really difficult decisions, and those are decisions I'm not taking lightly. We know that whichever way we turn on some days, they have a consequence that's unintended or intended, and those, for me, we absolutely have to be mindful when we enact any of those, and I'll cover that a bit more because we've got one of those questions in, and I'll kind of pick through a bit more about it in a short while. So we are taking some very practical action. So we've been working with system colleagues. We know that for colleagues, and I visited Peterborough on I'm trying to remember what day of the week it was now, Tuesday. I've got track of the day. It's Thursday. I should know that's when the exec Q&As are, on Thursday. And I saw kind of firsthand and spending a number of hours there into the evening about some of the challenges and the work and kind of, I guess, the impressive teamwork, which we talk about, we kind of say we do, and we know we do, and then to witness it. So, and the opportunity for me to be able to speak to colleagues as well. So we are looking at a number of actions, particularly around supporting hospital handover, and also assisting in terms of welfare, which I'm hoping we can have some conversations about very shortly, in terms of kind of tomorrow or Monday, around some very practical bits that we're doing, supported by the local resilience forums as well. And we've also really been working through a number of those areas of hospital handover. You know, we know that causes some challenge and frustration, and means that kind of that continual balance. And we know it disrupts end of shift meal breaks, and that's on top of some of the stuff that we take as immediate actions as well. We're also looking at call handling, so we're looking at taking even more call handlers. We're also looking at how we bolster and support frontline resourcing, but it's also important we're also doing that with PTS as well. So while we focus on 999 calls and we focus on responding, we also need to remember our PTS colleagues are doing as much activity as they were before COVID, and with the social distancing and the must travel alone, that takes it into quite a significant increase. We've had really good conversations with our commissioners, and I think we need to acknowledge that in the way they've supported particularly PTS because of the ability to get resourcing in. I think with A&E we're doing a number of contingency planning bit, so overtime incentive, and I'll cover that. There's quite a couple of the questions on the use of an overtime incentive, and I'll kind of happily talk through that. The other bit is around some of the recruitment, so we know we've got some of our graduate paramedics coming in. The other bit is how we also support with other agencies. So we're in discussions with Fire Rescue Service, we're in discussions with the military, and we'll also be having discussions with the police services and police forces as well. But recognising one of the bits for all of us is that workforce kind of impact of COVID, whether it be well-being, whether it be the physicality of that as well. The other bit I just wanted to kind of just touch back on was COVID. So it feels like people have been talking about restrictions being eased, but that was only on Monday. I need to reiterate and just be really clear for us, for health, and we see it for all healthcare settings, and they're no different. The guidance remains. It remains for us to maintain all of the usage of PPE, all of the preventative use of PPE. You'll still see COVID secure measures in. We'll encourage and ask people to participate in the lateral flow, lamp testing where it's available, following the guidance as well. And that's really important to protect our patients in the community. We know that while vaccination uptake has been really good for us as people, we know that in the community, not everyone has been vaccinated. And I think the phrase I've been using is COVID hasn't gone away. And we will see the impact of COVID in a very different way. So some of that will be around the stuff that had to stop during COVID. So people's operations, people's, chronic illnesses now becoming acute. We also know that from that we're seeing I use the term staycation effect. So people coming forward with regards to being closer, which is great for the economy, but obviously creates yet another kind of dynamic to our challenge as well. And then there is also the impact of absence and isolation as well. So the next bit is then how we work with systems. And we've got some further ideas about how we may be able to use our CFRs differently. And the immediate relief out of all of these is about people. And that has to be the absolute focus, because that's a bit that makes it better for all of us, makes it better for patients. We're also looking at how we support in the control room with our senior clinical teams and assisting and assessing as well. And again, I'll come back to some of our I guess I use the term, some of our statistics, but actually we are doing, and we've been operating since yesterday at surge level 2. So we've not enacted all the actions around end of shift, etc. But there are certain things that we have done. So our no send, so we're doing a high level of no send. We're also doing hear and treat, and making sure that we focus on that. And we're looking at somewhere between 10 and 15% every day reviewing those two combined for patients, but we're not. Our clinical teams are also doing no send cancel appointment call on category 2s. So from the point of view of clinical risk, we are trying to balance that and share that across systems and for us as well. So I think the other bit that I'd also had would list or send some guidance out related to PPE in hot weather. And so really, it's really difficult because the guidance doesn't change, and the heat is really difficult. But it's more about hydration, well-being, and supporting along those lines to make sure that you are kind of okay, and taking kind of the opportunity to step back and get fresh air where you're able to do those as well. The other bit we're also looking at is private ambulance services, that they are also affected. So it's a really tough time. We're looking at some of the contingency measures. We're looking at how we bolster, how we do, and how we also support as well. Been talking with Bob, as Director of Workforce, of doing some very practical things we can try. But I'm also speaking with the teams on the ground, colleagues when we're out and about, is please make sure stop me. If you've got some suggestions, let me know. I'm planning to be down in Harlow, PA Harlow, kind of over the next within the next week. So I'll be down there as well, just to look at some of the handover challenges we have, but also to speak with colleagues down in their area as well. This weekend, I think we'll be busy. I think we'll be busy, and hence the kind of the focus of the incentivisation and the ask for all of us is the weekends, because that is when we know we're under pressure as well, and that's trying to balance those risk elements in there as well. So I guess moving on from performance, I just really wanted to be able to then just touch a little bit about Ofsted, and I hope and I feel we're fairly close to securing our education provider. I think it will just be one education provider for now, but we are in the throes of contract conversations. What I don't want to do is I don't want to jinx it by saying any more in terms of who, because technically until we respectfully both parties have got signatures, we do not want to do it. But having attended some of the meetings this week, the advocacy that we've been talking about, the drive to get it done, I'm hoping we'll be able to have some conversations and share some information next week. I'd always said it was hopefully the end of this week or beginning of next week. So I think in reality it's probably the beginning of next week, but it is close. We're now talking kind of contractual terms, and that's really important because, as I said, that then helps us unlock some of the other bits around transferring individual learner records. How long is it going to be? So all of the questions that are very practical, we'll be able to then put down and be able to support in there as well. The other bit I just wanted to take time to also spend some time with the education team as well. And I think I need to just be really clear on here for the avoidance of doubt, is that the Ofsted inspection happened at Newmarket, and in part that was convenience. So it wasn't because they had to go to Newmarket. And the reason I say that and stress that is I know our colleagues have shared some feedback, and they've shared some level of concern about some of the phraseology and the terms that have been used in quite blunt terms, completely inappropriate. Bearing in mind what Ofsted was talking about, bearing in mind the cultural challenges we've spoken about on these calls and bits, is some of it I appreciate is absolute frustration, I appreciate it, but also some of them are just not appropriate. And we need to step back and acknowledge that this was about the trust. This was not about Newmarket Training Centre alone. And I just ask us to think about that, because if and I'm taking it in the spirit of the feedback from all parties and all teams, is that if we are carrying on and behaving in what has been described in the Ofsted report and we're still doing it to ourselves, then we can't really challenge as an unfair. And this is about terminology, about language. Some of the bits, they're not banter, they're absolutely not banter. And this is absolutely within our gift to stop and to check and to challenge. And this is for us to speak up and speak out. It's really, really important. And you know, again, I come back to some of the bits I've been saying and I've been reiterating over time. And I guess I'm trying to be as direct and blunt and supportive in that. So the message I hope is very, very clear. We are doing some of this to ourselves. No one is making us do it. We are doing it to ourselves, and that's the bit I still struggle to get. You know, we all have frustrations and we have challenges, but I just don't get how we speak to colleagues or how on earth we do with regards to those areas. So again, a pause for thought. The other bit I just wanted to kind of highlight then is the pulse survey, and I appreciate that. There's always a survey. I do appreciate that, but I think we've spoken before, and I'll just say again that giving your views and having a conversation really important. I accepted obviously the challenge last time. I was with you about being out and about. I've been down to PCH. Well, I suppose it depends where you start. I've been up to PCH and going to PA Harley as well, so we'll be out and about, and we'll be having those conversations even at report, because actually I'll be looking at how we support system and some of the work as well within there. And so the current survey is the 30th of July is when it ends. So you know, please do look and please do use those as well. So just therefore then to say thank you, for kind of participating today. There's some you know, lots of questions, some good questions, so thank you for that. Thank you for the conversation, the opportunity as well. Please continue to look after yourselves and your colleagues. Stay safe, thank you. And I will draw it to a close today, and then we will have a conversation. I think I'm probably scheduled not next week, the week after. I'll be back with you in a couple of weeks' time, just to pick up the conversation. Thanks all. Have a really good day. Stay safe and speak soon. Thank you.